Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome. My name is Shelly and I am a scrapbooker, and today we're going to do a little scrapbooking Disney using this beautiful tropical garden designer paper pack and the coordinating tone on tone paper pack. When this collection first came out, I knew that it was beautiful, but I didn't buy it right away because I couldn't figure out how to justify it. I didn't have anything tropical to scrapbook, so I didn't get it right away. But then when I started looking at the papers, I convinced myself that I could use it to scrapbook some of my photos from the animal kingdom. Me and my best friend Gina and her husband went to Disney in September of 2024. And we stayed at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. So I was like, oh, I'm going to need so much of that tropical, animal kingdomy kind of paper. And that is what I used to justify the purchase of this paper pack. And then, I kind of tired of doing the winter pages. So I thought, well, I'll use this new tropical garden paper. And I started looking through my photos and the paper pack itself, and I saw this card. And it was in the matte pack, and it says Birds of a Feather Party Together. And so my brain went ding, ding, ding. I can scrapbook the Tiki Room. I love the Tiki Room. It is one of my favorite nostalgia. It's not a ride, really, attraction at Disney. And so I decided that was what I was going to do today, and I'm going to use this card. Now, these paper packs are absolutely beautiful. These are the papers that are in the main designer paper pack. Look how gorgeous these hibiscus flowers are. Actually started cutting into that one. This one has a little bit of a sunshine on the back, but I did do a little bit of fussy cutting and I may do some more. But these papers are just gorgeous. And, if you don't have anything tropical, there are plenty of papers here that you can use. This doesn't have to be tropical. This doesn't have to be tropical. You know what I mean? You can figure out ways to use these papers if you just really want them. Now, I'm going to keep this one paper out here. And then the tone on tone paper pack is also beautiful and again easy to use for, you know, those other things that might be tropical adjacent, but not necessarily, oh, I went on this big trip to somewhere. So I am going to be using a couple pieces of paper from this pack today as well. In fact, this ended up being the paper that I have chosen as my main feature paper on both sides of my layout. So I'm going to keep this one and this one. Now, one of the coordinating colors with this collection is this deep orchid. It matches this card perfectly, so I am going to use it as my base cardstock. And I think that I'm going to do a frame style layout, and so I'm going to cut this down to where I have this deep orchid border around my page. So I have cut this peel paper down to 10 inches tall by 11 inches wide, so that I will have a 1-inch border of the orchid all the way around. It might be a little bit too big, but it's already done, so that's what we're going to go with. And then I did gut out the unused portion of the orchid paper. For my photos, I used my usual method. I got my photo templates out, went through my options, and figured out how I was going to lay everything out before I printed my photos to fit. And then I printed my photos. So they are going to be, this has to be cut down a little bit. And then my mats on this side, if I mat them all, yeah, I will have to mat them, but they're going to have to be pretty slim. So I can cut my photos down a little bit too, probably if I need to, especially this center row. And I may have to do that because I probably should have made my border half an inch instead of a full inch. Like I said, it's done now. So I'm just going to keep going. Now, I wanted to add another color or another pop of color, and I really had a hard time choosing which one I wanted to use because there's a lot of different colors in this collection, but not all of them went super well with all of the photos because I mean there's pinks in here, but over here there's no pinks, and there's yellows over here, and there's not as much yellow over here. Um, I think there were, and the greens, I could have used a green as well, but the one green that I liked was actually this same pattern, which I didn't want to use. And the other green is a little bit, it's a different color green that I didn't necessarily want to use. But I think that yellow is going to be what I like best. And maybe this piece here, I'll have to cut it down some. But I think that I might do this. And I may even trim a little bit off because I think that I want this teal to show again at the bottom. I'm not 100% positive, but I think that I like this. Now, on this side, I'm not going to add an additional color paper because we are already going to be tight fit on this side. So I'm going to, oh, but whenever I went to choose my photo mats, again, it was the same issues. What color is going to look best? I didn't want to do white, although I did consider white. It may not have been a bad choice, but pink was too much. The yellow was too much. But I remembered that when I was laying out my photos as I printed them, I still had my templates in place. And so when I laid my photos down on top of them, black mat actually looked pretty good. So I think that I'm going to use black for my photo mat. And there is a lot of black in these photos. So I think that that will work best. So I'm going to pause the camera and map my photos. Okay, so I have matted all my photos. And what I ended up doing is trimming all of these photos down by an eighth of an inch. So a 16th of an inch all the way around. I had to trim this card down as well to match that size. Then I matted them, and I matted them with an eighth of an inch all the way around, but you can see how close they are now. If just imagine them all with another eighth of an inch all the way around. It was very crowded over here. So I had to trim them all down. So the mats are smaller than I would have preferred, but because I made this border that big, that was a choice on my part. Um, I had to make these mats thinner. And so I went ahead and made these mats match over here. These are attached just because they are going where they are, and that's not going to change. And I didn't want them to scooch around all over the place. This I've only attached with a little bit of removable or repositionable adhesive. I also attached this piece of paper just with one little piece of removable, no, repositionable adhesive just to hold it in place, but that is not attached yet. So this side has not been put down. Now I don't think I'm going to add a separate title because I like this as a title. And then also the sign is kind of, explaining to me what is going on here. Maybe I'll put another word from the sticker book or from the embellishment pack over here. So there is some kind of a subtitle or something over here. I haven't decided on that yet. Oh, I do have this that I want to put over here somewhere. So I do know that I like this because it matches and it says my soul is happy. So that will kind of substitute for um, an official title. Now, I have gone through the embellishment pack and pulled out anything that I thought might work. There's obviously going to be more here that I can use, but anything that I thought might work with this layout. So obviously I chose the parrot and I chose this toucan too. I don't actually remember if there are toucans in the tiki bird. I feel like there are, but I'm not 100% positive, but I'm gonna include him as well. And then just some of the leaves and florals and what have you. I didn't know if I could do my journaling or whatever on there. If I even do journaling, I'm not sure. So I have a little stack of these that to choose from. And then of course I have this sticker pack. And I do like this loving the vibe. So maybe that'll be the word that I use or the words that I use on this side. And then just the general stickers, and border stickers. Now, whenever I was trying to figure out what in the world am I going to do here, I did think maybe I will do some fussy cutting out of this piece of paper. Not everybody likes fussy cutting. I don't mind it. Sometimes I really enjoy it. So I cut a couple just with the border pieces because I knew with as crowded as things were going to be, I wasn't going to have room for a big honking flower. And so I didn't want to waste it. But some of these that are on the border, you're going to tuck them behind anyway. So I have just a couple. I'm not sure about this one. This one was a corner, so I may have to cut another. But just a couple of the side pieces, and then you can tuck them, wherever you want them to go. And so this one is even still too big. I'd have to really tuck that in there to get it to not hang off the side of the page. So I can do it up here. There's a little bit more room up here. So I have a couple of these pieces. Just tuck here and there. I like that. I have this border one, but see how it cuts off in two places. So I don't know. I don't know if that would work, but I might be able to use just this flower and not this flower. So I have it here set aside. So, and then maybe some tags or something to fill out my embellishment clusters, just so that it's full, but without being too cluttered. So let's see. I want to I know that I want this somewhere on this page. This is me, by the way. I don't know what face I was making in that selfie, but that it is what it is. And then this is Stu. This is me and Gina and Stu. Stu is Gina's husband. Gina is my best friend. And they are nice enough to haul me around with them like their adult child whenever they go on vacation, not all the time, sometimes, but I do love to go on vacation with my travel buddies. So I like this that says my soul is happy, it matches, and somewhere over here I want that to go. Now this guy, just going to sit them right there for right now. I want this leaf down here, I think. It's kind of a base for an embellishment cluster. And then I have, let's see here. I don't know if I like those flowers. There's also a yellow one. I don't want to do yellow on yellow. Maybe, I don't know. There's also these little birds. I pulled them out. There's like hummingbirds. They are hummingbirds. But I don't think there's hummingbirds in the tiki room. So I'm just going to sit them over here for the moment. Tropical leaves, that's the same. This this pack seems to have doubles. I don't remember if they've been that way in the past. Like there are two of these and two of these that go in different directions. Two of these. I don't remember if I mean I don't recall that in other embellishment packs, but they were different. I mean, they're usually different because they're usually like a snow plow, and you're not going to have two snow plows. But I really like these. They're very pretty. All right, let's see here. So, oh, there are two cans right there. Oh, forgot about him. So maybe he does need to go here with this picture. I'm not sure I love that. Let's see here. Wordy wise, we have vacay, real relaxation, love it here, stunning views, photo op. I can do photo op. Loving the vibe. This is my happy place. Maybe if I have this one, I don't need another one. So let's see. Do I need a third flower? Let's cut this one out first and see if it will suffice. I don't love how much white is surrounding these. Ooh, I know what I need. Pause. Okay, I've gotten this punch at the Monstera leaves, and I am going to punch this out of dark green. This is one of the coordinating colors. I just have this other piece of avocado down there. I wasn't sure if I was going to do it in avocado or dark green, and I went with the dark green because it is one of the coordinating colors, and I'm just using the other one to catch the little falling parts so that it doesn't get all mixed in with my layout. I should not just be holding this in the air like a crazy person. I'm going to set this to the side. I don't know if I'll need another one or not. Set this to the side, and then I can dump this into the trash. All right, now I'm going to take my scissors and make some individual leaves. All right, let's see if that will work to begin with. There. cut just that bit of extra off of the parrot, and I think I like him better that way, so I'm going to do the same thing here. If you like to fussy cut, these are really good fussy cutting scissors. So let's see. Okay, so I paused the camera and I not glued, taped these photos down because they were moving around and it was annoying. So, and I cut some more, I cut the rest of these leaves off of that border strip and I have tucked them in. I like this as kind of a mini title. Um, we're instead of one big title, we kind of have just a couple of word spots that I'm going to use instead. While I had the camera paused, I actually pulled this sheet out again and did some more fussy cutting. I love fussy cutting and I love it when paper collections have things that you can cut out and use in your layouts. So I did more of the little cover corner pieces, and I think I'm going to add one more over here just behind this one. And then in this corner, because of the way the flower is shaped, I can tuck this one right back there. And then maybe I can tuck this one right back here just for not really so you can see it, but just to add some fill out this cluster a little bit. So we have that guy. I like that. And I know I want to add, if I can find them, yes, maybe a couple of these small flowers or these. Ooh, these. I'm going to use a couple of those small flowers to fill out some of these little clusters. And instead of my spellbinder bling this time, I think I'm going to use some honeybee stamps gem stickers. They used to sell these and they sold them with their collections. So like these are Spring Lullaby, these are Autumn Afternoon. This one's called Hot Tropics. And I think these colors would go and also these rainbow gem stickers. So I may use some of those, probably will on here as well. Now, originally I wanted some tags. I don't know if I need them, but let's just make one really quickly and see if it's something that adds to this or if it's just gonna convolute things. Oops. Use my angle punch, and then hole punch. That's a really big hole. I'm going to use this punch because the hole won't be so gigantic. Let's see. I do like that. What about a yellow one? Let's try yellow. think I like those. And then if we fill out these with some flowers. Okay. I think I like how this is looking. Let me add my wine to my tags. You know that I prefer to have my tags finished. Okay. So I like the placement of my tags. I need something else over here, I think. But what? I ended up adding some more to this cluster over here, including this um, little leaf cluster with one of the hibiscus from the sticker sheet. And then I added another tag in the yellow just to kind of balance out the one that was over here, just so this corner looked a little bit more full. There's not really a lot of room in here to add anything without just it looking like I was randomly throwing things on there, which I don't want to do. So I think that this is going to be the finished product with the exception of I do want to add something blingy. So I'm going to glue or tape or stick all of my embellishments down, and then we will look at adding our final touches together. Okay, everything is stuck down. Hopefully nothing's going anywhere. My tags are finished. There's twine, there's eyelets. I need to write down something here. I don't know what I'm going to say, but I'll write something down there. So maybe just some sparkles. Bling is on. Bling is blinging. All right. Do we like it? I think we do. I've got to put the date on here somewhere. Maybe I'll put that here in whatever it is I'm going to write. I don't have any idea yet. And then I'm going to be ready to go into my Disney 2024 album. Here's a secret. Um, I'm not supposed to be working on that album yet because I haven't finished our 2015 trip. Gina and I, without Stu, went in 2015. And we were only there for like 3 days and we came back with 2,100 photos, maybe. Could be more, but I think it may have been about 2,100 photos. And that's entirely too many. And I have no control when I'm scrapbooking, and I wasn't really keeping track of how many pages and that kind of stuff because, I was just, to begin with, I was just willy-nilly scrapbooking these uh, layouts. And then when I started, okay, I have to figure out what's really going on here, and I put them in order and I made my plan like I normally do. And it's going to be 3 albums long. And I think they're going to be 3 fat albums. And that's ridiculous. I mean, I love all the pages, so I don't regret it, but it's a lot. And now, to begin with, is before I started using any Creative Memories products, and especially before I was trying to use Creative Memories albums. And so some of my pages are very dimensional. There's some fat stuff in there. So that is part of the problem. It's that the pages are very thick, and I was doing all kind of stuff in some of them, but they're very cute. Maybe I'll do a flip through of some of those pages. But I was not supposed to start working on this album until I finished that album. And while if I told you how many pages I had left to do on that, it wouldn't sound like I was nearly done, but in comparison to where I started, I'm reasonably close to finishing it, sort of. Um, but I wanted to use this paper. So I cheated a little bit and made the first layout from our 2014 trip. But I like it. I think it's pretty. Love the Tiki Room. Love this collection. Um, so yeah, thank you so much. If you have watched this all the way to the end, I appreciate you and I appreciate you sticking with me. Um, if you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I am new to YouTube. And so any little bit of help does help. It lets YouTube know, hey, you should show this to people who like scrapbooking videos. So I would appreciate it if you did give it the thumbs up. If you don't want to, that's fine. I don't care. Um, if you want to see more of these videos, it is my heart's dream to add a second video a week. Right now, my goal is one video a week, but I'd like to add a second video a week that's just Disney. And maybe not every week, but maybe a couple times a month, do a Disney day. Um, so if you would like to see that or something that you're interested in, if you want to subscribe, that would be amazing. If you like this collection, it is still for sale. And if you do not have a Creative Memories advisor, I would love it if you shopped through me. The link to my Creative Memories store will be in the description box below. Again, thank you so much for sticking with me to the end, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.